kindler, gentler Taliban. Presumably a slogan which CNN decided to steal from the Labour Party to apply to the Taliban.
Well, I mean, that's literally Jeremy Corbyn's kinder, gentler politics.
Yeah, and
as manifested by the Taliban.
And here's the CNN article: a kinder, gentler Taliban. Of course, they're
Question
progressives.
mark. Question mark.
Who knows? They could be. So they say in here, the Taliban are claiming today that they have changed during the past 2 decades. They are the kindler, gentler Taliban. A Taliban spokesman, Zabihullah Mujahid, asserted, quote, the Islamic Emirate is committed to the rights of women within the framework of Sharia.
Rights.
Within the framework of Sharia. Look at that progress. We now agree with women's rights, provided it's Islamic. Islamic rights.
But the thing is, I don't know if I would call the Quranic view of women to be about rights. Because rights, duties, I think.
Stations.
Stations, yeah, is the right way to put it. There is a proper place for women in Islam, of course, and it's directly below men.
Or walking directly behind them.
Or walking directly behind them, or receiving half of the inheritance that a man would receive, and things like this. I mean, it's literally women are half as valuable as men in Islam.
Unless it's a rape case in which they're 1/4.
That's a good point, actually, yeah. Then you need 4 witnesses rather than just 1.
Anyway, so yeah, CNN aren't the only ones to jump on this train of trying to describe the Taliban as some kind of progressive force. So, of course, we have force of progressivism.
I just love this, right? Because you know what's going through their minds. They're like, well, Taliban, they sound pretty bad. They are anti-American and they are people of colour, though. So maybe we need to start thinking about how we can repackage this in a progressive form so they're part of our coalition.
They are a voice within the BLM movement. Anyway, so Matt
They're
Walsh,
just opposing white supremacy, Callum.
taking this clip from the State Department, and it was some spokesman who said that the Taliban need to form an inclusive and representative government. He's pointing out this isn't the Babylon Bee. This is a real man who stood there with absolutely no conviction in his voice. Like, you can tell even he thinks it's bloody nonsense, saying we need an inclusive Taliban government. Okay, yeah.
Not likely is all I'm going to say.
So if we go to the next one as well, we have the British. So what was this guy? The Chief of Defence Staff for the British, and we played this clip before, but I just wanted to mention it again because it was amazing.
I think you have to be very careful using the word enemy.
Yes.
To describe the Taliban.
Up until yesterday, we were killing them on sight, but today...
we were dropping Moabs on them 6 months ago.
So he said that the Taliban want an Afghan that is inclusive for all.
Just honestly, progressives should get flown out to Afghanistan as a duty to all mankind.
Or as a gift to the West.
Yeah. just a month's tour in Afghanistan for progressive ideologues. That's what I want.
This was great to watch with Peter as well, because this guy, he describes the Taliban as the country boys. It's just amazing. Like, they're just country boys and they're anti-corruption.
Well, just like the Dukes of Hazzard from Afghanistan. Yeah. That's what they are.
Allahu Akbar. Anyway, so yeah. That's more of the
black flag painted on their car.
Well, it'd be the white flag because it's Taliban.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, the white.
When do I get it wrong? So the Taliban watched this and were like,
"Yeehaw!"
Okay, yeehaw! Let's just say the words, the magic words. So they said that they're going to set up an inclusive government. Yeah, so the member of the Taliban, he will be in Kabul to meet jihadist leaders and politicians for an inclusive government setup.
Oh, amazing. If we just use the word inclusive enough.
I know, he's like, yeah, I'm going to go meet jihadists to set up an inclusive government. Me and the jihadists, that's very inclusive.
What's the gay representation going to be like in the Taliban government?
I think 0. Anyway, but I thought we'd cut this off with a story about how the new Taliban are about, and there is a weird story here that does paint them in a good light, which I'm going to read because it's
from
really
ITV?
Funny. From ITV, of course. So they label this chivalry Taliban style. Take This Woman Home, Afghan journalist Zaha Nabi, on how she experienced chivalry, Taliban style. The chivalrous Taliban. So Zaha was at our hotel and Serena.
Zara, I think it is.
I don't know how to get it right. Yeah. The night before last. The hotel has been under Taliban control since Monday. So she's in the hotel, and then Taliban turned up to control the hotel. Her business here concluded long after dark, and she walked out the hotel gates. She turned to one of the Taliban guards and told him that she was unable to get home on her own, and he or one of the colleagues would have to take her home. She turned to the Taliban and were like, well, it's dark, take me home.
Yep.
You're a man, I'm a woman,
yep.
Take care of me.
Yeah.
And it says initially the gunman looked confused at this Westerner, but Zahara was persistent. Eventually, he picked up his Kalashnikov and walked into the middle of the road. He aimed the rifle at the first unfortunate motorist to come along. That chivalry lasted long.
No. This is part of the chivalry.
He pointed the gun at the first motorist he saw. The petrified driver screeched to a stop. The Taliban guard walked to the side window and told the man, "Take this woman home," which he then did.
Yeah.
That's pure chivalry right there. And they're right there at the end. Chivalry, Taliban style.
No, but that legitimately is, right? Because what that's saying is there is a tradition within Islam about the proper protection and treatment of women, and this is a part of it. A woman is vulnerable if she's supposed to walk home at night. So no, a man's duty is to do this. And so that's what the Taliban guard was doing.
I mean, there's some mean magic to it. I mean, I would love to be like a security guard who's just armed, and then some woman comes out and is like, "Take me home." He's like, "All right, doing nothing else tonight."
He's got a duty to do it. You know, under Islam, he's got a duty to protect women, so he did.
Not in the West. That's all dead. So the Taliban have also been mocking the US. This has been going around quite a lot. So you can see David posting here the image of the Yanks getting the flag on Iwo Jima up, and then the image of some guys in Western gear putting up the flag of the Taliban.
God damn it.
In comparison, which does sting. So what's interesting as well is I must say, especially with the Good Morning Caliphate setup they had, I don't know if you saw their studio, looked very good. I'll give them that.
It's Good Morning Emirate.
Oh, actually. Good Morning Emirate, not Caliphate, yeah. So they've actually been pretty slick with their media operation, and a lot of people have been stunned by this, me included, which is just, I don't know where this has come from. I think they've probably been interacting with the American psyops guys who have been working with the Afghan government to try and make them
wow,
agenda.
really? The Taliban were working with the CIA?
I mean, working kind of against. So, for example, the Afghan government, the American psyops, set up radio stations for the Afghan government, and they would have the Taliban on for debates. Like blood sports.
I like their commitment to free speech.
Yeah, so it makes the point of like, we're the guys who are in favor of free speech. We're honest. We'll have the debate with the enemy and defeat them on the ideas and all the rest of it. Unlike the Taliban, who just shut us down. And I think the Taliban may have just learned a lot of things in their 20 years of interacting with this high level of military operations. And what's interesting is they went on Iranian TV and kind of dunked on the Iranian government for being liars. So this guy went on Iranian TV, and it's like titled here, "Taliban know the Iranians better than themselves." Taliban spokesman: "If the US announces right now in any country in the world that its planes will take people to America, wouldn't people rush to get on board?" The Iranian TV presenter says Iranians wouldn't do so, and the Taliban presenter is just like, "Yeah, I'm sure they would."
Oh my god.
Which, I mean, they would. I mean, that's the weird thing. Like, you wouldn't openly talk like that, surely, if you're trying to give off the impression that, no, Afghanistan's perfect, no one would try and get on the planes. But he's sort of giving off the idea that, yeah, of course people want to run to America.
Sorry, are we pointing out that the Taliban are winning in the popular consciousness of the Muslim world?
They seem to be, which I'm not happy about. But they're actually they're not the desert dwellers of 2001.
No, because I saw the Chad Taliban memes they were posting on Twitter.
Yeah.
For some reason, they're allowed on Twitter.
Nowhere else. Twitter's their favorite platform.
Yeah, Facebook they're not allowed on, and all the YouTube they're not allowed on. But for some reason, Jack Dorsey, who looks a bit like a mad mullah himself, is okay with it.
But speaking of Twitter,
I'm not allowed on Twitter. Taliban are.
I can think of a reason to disavow the Taliban, if none others come to mind. They endorse anime. So
I knew they were bad, but now I'm convinced of it.
This is one of the amazing things, right? I'm kind of glad that they're on Twitter because it's just really funny. So this guy messaged a Taliban account saying, "Will the Taliban ban anime or is it allowed?" And the guy responds, "What do you mean by anime?" So he sends him a picture of some Japanese schoolgirl anime and says, "This is anime. Anime are Japanese cartoons." And if we get the next one up, the Taliban respond, "It's just a cartoon, not a problem."
Okay, listen, Taliban, we need to have a talk, right? The anime is a problem. Yeah, exactly. Anime is haram, and you should know this by the fact that what it is subverting your Islamic values with Western values through the medium of Japanese children's cartoons or cartoons of children. Definitely haram.
There's also the absurd images coming out there. So
elect me for Supreme Leader.
I've seen the meme.
And I'll ban anime.
So we go to the next one. You can see here, I love this title. Taliban imam flanked by gunmen in Kabul mosque appeals to Afghans to stay in the country.
At least he's wearing his mask, though.
I didn't notice that.
Don't want them catching COVID.
Just like, there's no reason to leave the country, just surrounded by guys with AKs. Sorry, not AKs, I don't know what guns those are. But
Who cares? Yeah.
Anyway, of course, in reality, the Taliban are still the Taliban. This is all
Yeah.
BS. This is all a weird argument from Westerners who are trying to make the Taliban to be some kind of inclusive force, and then they're going to be shocked when the Taliban turn around and be the Taliban. First and foremost, they need to be cancelled, if nothing else.
Really?
For blackface, of all things. So, apparently they found a guy who was engaging in theft, and so they covered up his face in black soot or something, and then paraded him around in ritual humiliation.
Are we sure that this isn't a diplomatic embassy with Justin Trudeau?
Not yet, but I mean, these are the reports we have on the ground. I mean, maybe Justin has his cousins are on holiday, like Miles or something. Anyway, so we go to the next one. There's also, of course, what the Taliban have been up to. So this one talks of when they stormed the TV station, the Good Morning Emirate, as you've said. So they stormed in, told the women presenters to get lost, and that they're not coming back because
Very inclusive.
no women, and also berated them for wearing makeup, which
So he Jordan Peterson them.
which I suppose they didn't kill them at least.
Yeah, that's
So we go to the next one. They
that's
also
progress.
are threatening people with to be stoned or amputated for being criminals.
So Sharia.
Yep, they're threatening them with sharia, which, according to the Pew polling, 99% of Afghanis wanted.
Yep.
So,
And 99.7% of Afghanistan is Muslim.
how can
Just saying.
How can 99% of the people be wrong? They can. Let's go to the next one. So the Sky.
I shouldn't be laughing at all this. This is all awful, but
No, it's absolutely horrible.
it's so ridiculous that it just sounds like it's come from another century, doesn't it?
But it also sounds like we were making this all up, you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
That's like a brass eye skit.
yeah, like the Taliban have taken back Afghanistan today.
Yeah.
Like if they were reporting in 2010 or something,
Yeah.
and making up fake news.
And then Good Morning Emirate, with like the Good Morning like TV, but with guys in turbans and guns.
Babylon B, the Taliban endorse anime.
Yeah, exactly. Taliban. Yeah, exactly. It sounds like a joke.
Yeah, so from here they say Afghanistan, Taliban warn there will be consequences if Biden delays the withdrawal of US troops in response to Biden wanting to delay the withdrawal of troops because everything's cocked up. Like, apparently they gave him a deadline, which was, I think it's, what is it, the end of this month?
That's right. The Taliban are giving Joe Biden deadlines.
Yeah,
Let that sink in.
Get lost or we're going to kill everyone, which they seem to have the capacity to do, of course.
Why aren't you killing the Taliban, Joe?
Because I suppose he doesn't want to start the war. I did hear a story, which is quite funny. So the paras from Britain have been going out and getting our guys out from the country. The Americans, not so much.
For some reason.
Apparently there was one incident where the paras came back with some guys they want to extract, and they got to the gates of the airport, and the Americans didn't want to let them in. For some reason, they were worried about, overcrowding the airport or something like this.
Right.
And apparently it got to the point where the paras were just pointing guns at the Americans, saying, let us in or you're dying. So, don't know.
Well, it's not like the Americans are brave enough to shoot back at anything anymore, is it, apparently?
Anyway, so if we go to the next one as well, we have Sky News reporting on the ground from the airport, which is an absolute S show. And as you can see here, the footage, and we're not going to play it because probably get a copyright strike or something, but in the footage, the guy says that thousands of Afghans who have no right to come here but are coming anyway. So thousands and thousands of people are turning up at the airport to get a free flight to the West, because, I mean, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And, of course, lots and lots of those people have no right to be there. But, of course, because there's so many and it's up against a gate, people are being crushed to death.
Brilliant.
So lots of people are being killed. There are some gunshots going off by who knows who.
Yeah.
The people are trying to get in as well. And the Americans and the troops there, I mean, they're having a terrible time, all of them, to be honest. I can't imagine having to deal with this crisis. But interestingly, the point has been made, if we go to the next one, that this is exactly the same situation we have in the West. We've managed to make exactly the same border crisis that we have at the US southern border and in Greece, only this time at the international airport in Afghanistan, for saying virtually the same thing.
Weird how progressive policies keep coming to this conclusion.
Every single time. It's you would have thought we'd learned the lesson by now. You don't just say, we'll take thousands of people, no checks whatsoever. Come to the West, buckos. No, you go out for specific people who you have names on a list. You go and get them. Anyway, some other updates from this, I think we'll probably end on this and then return Afghanistan to its place in international politics, which is
World history. It's the graveyard of empires.
Well, it's kind of a false narrative. Like, it's been conquered many times, but it's just in modern history.
Yeah, but conquering it isn't the problem because it's just a giant desert and mountain range. But, like, why you want it is the problem. Yeah. Now you've got to sit there forever in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of angry barbarians who are just there going, look, we've got nowhere else to go.
This is
We
their home.
live here, and we're just going to wait for generation upon generation upon generation. And literally for the last 1,000 years, it's been an Islamic emirate. You know, there's what you can do, change it? No, of course you're not going to change it.
There was an interesting point from the This Is What Winning Looks Like documentary filmmaker. The previous one he did, like years before. He said in that one, the Taliban have said to us they'll stay here for 20 years like it's waiting for Christmas.
Yeah.
It's no problem for them at all.
Well, they've got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, so they have. But some of the other Western stuff on this that's
Apart from
been
Pakistan.
terrible. Yeah. Some of the stuff on this has been terrible. Is the previous head of the CIA retweeted this, as Jack Posobiec points out. So if you can scroll down on this, it's a meme comparing the Taliban. Trump supporters.
Right, okay, yeah.
They're also getting the image of the Taliban wrong. That's ISIS. So, the former head of the CIA can't tell the difference between the Taliban and ISIS, which is warming to know.
And also can't tell the difference between the Taliban, ISIS, and Trump supporters.
Yeah. So the idea there is no deep state within the US administrations, nonsense.
But also their opinion on Trump supporters is that you're basically the same as the Taliban.
Yeah, and he's not, for people listening, he's not got an image up of like the Capitol or anything. He's just got a row of cars with American flags and Trump flags.
So on the plus side, you're about to get forgiven and brought into the fold by the inclusive progressive narrative because that's what they've done to the Taliban.
You know what our Taliban really is?
No.
The Taliban.
Oh.
We keep importing them. So we go to the next one. I mentioned that we're doing the airlifts out of there. Yeah, this doesn't go well. Exclusive with me and Hayden, blah, blah, blah. A person from Afghanistan on the UK's no-fly watch list has been flown into Birmingham as part of the British extraction operation in a potential security breach, Sky News can reveal.
Well, that's what happens when you're not checking passports, isn't it?
Yeah. Apparently, there have been 6 people who are on the no-fly list who have been sent outside of Afghanistan and have now been picked up as, oh, bugger. We were meant to put them on a plane to the west. And all of them are listed as a direct threat to the UK.
Oh, amazing.
So, fantastic. So, one of them made it to Birmingham, as mentioned. The Home Office is now insisting that this person is not of interest.
Oh, are they?
Why were they on a no-fly list? What were they doing in Afghanistan?
But I mean, for punishment for their sins, they've been sent to Birmingham.
Enjoy your time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, but that also gives us a statistic, which is that out of the 4,226 that have been evacuated from Afghanistan at time of recording, we had 6, which posed a direct threat to the UK, which means that for the 20,000 refugees we're going to take, we have about 27 terrorists who are probably going to come with them, if that holds up, that math. No problems whatsoever.
Yep.
Yeah. Our Taliban are just going to be the Taliban. We're going to import them, as we have with every other migrant crisis we've created.
If you enjoyed this segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can watch the full broadcast live every weekday at 1 p.m. UK time on lotuseaters.com.